Hey everybody, Joseph Tees. I'm the director of sales here at PoEWit. We still have a couple people that are joining in, so I will admit them as they come in. Thank you for being on this webinar. We're going to go over the PoEWit wireless access point solutions. I'm going to go over all our models, our competition, and then also we have a live demo that I'm going to show how our app works as well. So a lot of great things on this webinar. I want to introduce myself. I'm the director of sales for PoEWit. I've been on PoEWit, been with PoEWit for about 2.5 years. Before that, I was with PackEdge, Control4, and then Snap. So I went through those two acquisitions, and yeah, I'm out here in Southern California. I have almost a decade of experience in the networking side, and working again with Vic and Dushawn on PoEWit and on the networking and PoE lighting side. It's a really exciting time. So we do have Victor Pack on the call as well, and Giselle Caceres, who is our director of marketing. So I'll let Giselle introduce herself first, and then Vic can introduce himself, and then we'll get into the presentation.
Thank you, Joey. Hi, everyone. I am Giselle Caceres. I am the marketing director for PoEWit. I've been with PoEWit for about close to 4 years now. I have 20 years of experience in the field. I have experience in marketing, graphics. I work with several companies in the technology and security industry. I also have a background in graphic design, website design, video editing, and social media. So I handle all of the marketing for PoEWit. So if you need anything regarding graphics or even anything for social media, feel free to reach out to me. So before we begin, I wanted to take a quick poll. If you could type in the chat, how did you hear about this webinar? That would be great. Whether it was from a man rep, from Joey himself through an email, or through our Instagram post, we'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Vic, go ahead.
Sure. Hi, my name is Victor Pack. I've been in this space for a long time. My co-founder and I of PoEWit, we started PackEdge back in 2003. For those of you who don't know, package device and software, we started the whole enterprise grade networking in this channel, and we rolled that all the way until 2016 when Control4 purchased us, and then Snap AV obviously after that. So with all that said, we got an exciting new company. It's another sector that have been missing in this channel for a long time. So that's PoE lighting. And you're going to start to see Power over Ethernet, take over a lot of what we do in this channel. We're starting first with lighting. We're going to have some really big announcements this CEDIA. So hope, I see all of you guys there. And then finally, we got back into networking 18 months ago, including our wireless access point. We saw a big void in this channel. Some of the innovations have stopped. So we're filling that void. And, thanks to all of you. A lot of you have taken to the product really well. And the last 2 months, we had record sales here. So we're starting to see a lot of momentum of folks coming back and using our products. But the biggest compliment that we've been getting is the product has been rethought, re-architected for what's happening in the future. So thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join us for this webinar. So thank you.
Thanks, Vic. I'm going to share my screen real quick. Give me 1 second. That up there, and share. And then we'll get into presentation mode. Can just put a 1 in the chat just to say you can see my screen. Okay, everything looks good. Okay, so we are PoEWit. All some people pronounce it PoEWit, but our official name is PoEWit. All our devices are powered by PoE, from our architectural lights to our recess lights to our access points. We have network switches, our commercial wall packs. So PoEWit is the official name. So we have a lot of, like Vic was saying, a lot of experience in this industry. From Vic and Dushan have over 40 years of combined experience. I worked for them from 2014 until they sold to Control 4, and I went through the whole acquisitions of Control 4 and Snap. We have a lot of talented people from the old PoEWit days on our team. So I like to say we're the PoEWit all-stars on PoEWit. So you know, we were the #1 networking brand in CE Pro from 2010 to 2016. You know, we had a ton of innovation with PoEWit and just a lot of success. And you know, service to the dealer was really at the heart of everything we did at PoEWit. And we're bringing that mentality and vision to PoEWit. So like I said, we have a ton of experience here at PoEWit, and you know, looking forward to you know, bringing you guys the best in networking and PoE lighting. So why PoEWit? You know, at PoEWit we had about 2,000 dealers in North America. We sold about 500 sold products in about 50 countries. So we had a lot of innovation back then. You know, on the network switch side, you know, our high-powered APs, in-ceiling APs, our AV switches with the blue LEDs, back-facing cable, and AV housing. We had the first AVB products, predefined VLANs. You know, we really pushed VLANs, you know, in our system. And then, you know, we had Backpack, which was a huge deal, and really busted open the gate of remote management. So, you know, we had a really great run at PoEWit from 2010 to 2016 in terms of being the #1 networking brand and innovation. You know, PoEWit's not investor funded or controlled, so you know, we're a, you know, private company. You know, we're 100%, you know, 1,000% focused on the dealer. You know, and providing that innovation and you know, just the very best products for the dealer out in the AV space. So we offer the complete network solution. We just started providing or offering 4-net routers. So we have the R10 and R4, and the R4 dual WAN and the R10 dual WAN. We have 4 network switches, layer 3, NS48, NS24, the NS84B, and then NS8B, which both push 90 watts per port. And then we'll be talking about the WAP1, the WAP2, the WAP2O, and WAP2E that are all Wi-Fi 6 access points. So we offer the complete enterprise solution. So like I said, we're the true enterprise manufacturer. You know, we use the best chipsets in our access points. You know, we use the Qualcomm Hawkeye V2 chipset. It's a top of the line chipset, the same chipset that Ruckus uses in their access points. You know, it's just the top of the line chipset. In terms of our switches, we use a layer 3 Broadcom chipset, just, you know, heavy horsepower for network switches. You know, we want to provide, you know, the most power for our network switches, so you can power higher power devices like our WAP1 and commercial wall pack, the WP4, or our WAP2O, or just daisy chainer lights. And then also we offer UPSs, battery backup. You know, we saw a real opportunity in the CEDIA channel because there's not really a cloud UPS offered in the CEDIA channel, and it's, you know, super easy to configure with our access points, our lights. You get PoE load shed through our network switches. So, you know, we take a lot of pride in being the true enterprise manufacturer. So PoEWit versus some of our other competition. You know, our competition, you know, they have, you know, different layers of how they, you know, get to the dealer and get to the end customer. For us, we're 1,000% dealer direct. So, you know, you deal with us directly. You know, we ship the product from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. or there's 50-point margins on all our products. Our turnaround times are generally 1 to 2 business days out of Florida, South Florida. And, we saw, in this industry that things have just kind of gotten a little diluted in terms of going from the manufacturer to the dealer to the end customer. So we wanted to, bring back the dedication that PoEWit had to the dealers, from being the direct manufacturer to the dealer to the end customer. So we'll get into our access points. So we have the WAP1. This is our 8x8 wireless access point, Wi-Fi 6. This is powered by 40 watts of PoE. So you would need our NS8B series or NS84B series, or a 90-watt power injector, which we sell as well. This does a little bit over 1,000 simultaneous clients. And this is more of your high-end residential, commercial project. This has been a really popular access point in South Florida, the Northeast, Texas, the Midwest, like Chicago, and out here in California, Los Angeles, San Francisco area, where there's just a lot more devices that connect to the access point. So same chipset as Ruckus. We use the Qualcomm Hawkeye V2 chipset. It's in this access point, the WAP1, and all the rest of our access points. This is selling for $695 dealer cost, and then $1,390 MSRP, which I'll show you at the end of our slides here. Our WAP2O, this is our outdoor access point. This is a 2x2, IP67 rated, just, really heavy duty. When you pick it up, it just feels really well made, and the waterproof, the weatherproof. So if you're in a part of the country, it seems like every part of the country right now is getting hit by some kind of crazy weather, whether it's heat or rain or wind or snow coming up in the winter. We definitely have you covered. Our IP67 rated access point, outdoor access point, has a heater inside, runs on 40 watts of PoE. Again, the same chipset as Ruckus. This is $630 dealer cost, $1,260 MSRP. Wi-Fi 6, been super popular in areas that like South Florida, the Northeast. We've seen a lot in the Midwest too, with some of the weather that they've been getting. So, a really reliable outdoor access point. And then we have the WAP2. So we just released the WAP2 back in May, early May. This has been our most popular access point. It's a 2x2 Wi-Fi 6, supports a little bit over 500 simultaneous clients, powered by PoE Plus. This access point, the same chipset as Ruckus again, the Qualcomm Hawkeye V2 chipset. And dealers have been switching over to our WAP2 versus our other competitors, simply because one, they can get it. The price point's great at $275 dealer cost, $550 MSRP, and it's just been an awesome access point for maybe your small to medium-sized residential projects. And the form factor's awesome on it, super easy to install, and the wireless performance on this is just top of the line compared to some of our other competitors who don't have Wi-Fi 6, or they're using just a lesser chipset within their access points. So definitely check out the WAP2. It's available on our store right now. So I wanted to show you guys real quick. This is the screenshots of our app, how you configure our access points. So super easy to download the app. The app's free. Another big thing that we have over our competitors is that our app and configuring the access points, all the firmware is free. There's no subscription or licensing fee. So it's all baked in, into the cost of what you pay for the access point. Super easy to configure, the SSIDs, the radios, security profiles. We'll show a demo here in a little bit. They'll show you step-by-step how it goes in less than a minute. We like to say configuring our access points is faster than making a piece of toast. So we'll definitely show you that quickly. Pricing for our WAP 1, WAP 2.0, WAP 2, and then our WAP 2E, which we just released as a tri-band, has a 2.4, 5.0, and 6.0. That's our MSRP. The WAP 1 is $690 dealer cost. The WAP 2.0 is $630 dealer cost. The WAP 2 is $275 dealer cost, and then the WAP 2E is $395 dealer cost. And these are all in stock. We're shipping them out now. Like Vic said, the last 2.5 months, we've just had a lot of guys migrate over to us, simply because they're just dissatisfied with some of our other competitors in terms of the performance on their access points. So, half the cost of Ruckus, you're not going to find our access points on Amazon either. So, we're really giving you the tools to make as much money as possible on access points and giving you the best performance. Vic, was there anything you wanted to add?
Okay, let me unmute myself. No, I'm just, we're all about PoE and we needed networking products to power our lighting solutions. Some of our installations have over 1,000 devices. So we have to get back into networking because, a lot of folks, especially in this channel, just didn't carry the horsepower that we needed. And the biggest request that we had was around wireless access points. And, we saw our competitors, Luxol's out there. They don't even have Wi-Fi 6 out yet. And the whole chipset has been ratified over, almost 3 years now. And, Snap AV just last November released a Wi-Fi 6 offering. So it just kind of pained us to see dealers installing AC products all this time. And that's why we knew we had to act. And within a span of 18 months, we released 4 APs, including the 6.0 WAP 6E tri-band, which Ruckus is just starting to release. So that's been taken off really well for us and really popular. So we want to make sure when you go see your customers sell that you are walking in with the latest. And we had instances where we heard through the grapevine dealers kind of getting into trouble because they were still installing AC products. So we have a full offering. Just one last comment I will make is the wireless industry has changed a lot. In a sense, the majority of the radio, the chipsets, is pretty much controlled by Qualcomm now. I mean, they, back in the day, we actually had to tune the radios and things like that. But, Qualcomm, they're the best at it. And all enterprise players, I know Joey mentioned Ruckus and us using the same chipsets, but it's pretty much all true enterprise players. Cambium, Cisco, Aruba Enterprise, we all use the same thing now from Qualcomm. So it just kind of comes down for us to make it easy for you guys to configure, get in and get out without any kind of complications. So anyhow.
Thanks, Vic. Yeah, so we wanted to, I'm glad Vic mentioned Ruckus. So we, here's a price comparison, versus us and Ruckus. Our WAP 1 is comparable to their 850. Our WAP 2 is comparable to their 550. You can see the price difference right there. We're offering better margins, availability as well. Some of the Ruckus access points have been out of stock, or they keep their stock for some of their higher end commercial clients. They're not really dedicated to the CEDIA channel. So, with us, like I said, we wanted to give you guys the most, the best performance, and then also, the best margins too. So you guys can get the access points, make money, and go to the next project. So like I said, the WAP 1 is comparable to the R850. Chipset for chipset, you can see, our biggest thing against Ruckus is that we don't charge anything for subscriptions or licensing. Our app is free, easy to use. You don't need to have any support, any kind of contract with us. It's all over the cloud. So, you know, it's really easy to just manage our access points versus the Ruckus where, you know, you have unleashed and licensing and subscription fees and, you know, having to go back to your customer and say, you know, I'm charging you this because, you know, Ruckus, you know, has these licensing fees. So with us, you know, there's none of that. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so the WAP 2, same thing compared to the R550 with Ruckus. We do have, sorry about that. Same thing, you know, the software, all free for us compared to theirs. You're making money on ours, 50-point margins, you know, chipset for chipset, I mean, we're the same thing. So, you know, Ruckus is more of an old legacy product. With us, you know, it's we see the real value of offering our cloud management for free and for you guys to install quickly, have successful installs, and then move on to the next project so you can make as much money as possible. So we have the 2x2, 4x4, and 8x8. You know, most manufacturers have just stuck with the 4x4. With us, you know, we didn't want to just give you one version and say, you know, there you go. And have just a vanilla 4x4. You know, with us, we wanted to give you the option of having, you know, the very best in the 2x2. You know, most devices out there communicate on the 2.2. You know, and it's powered by PoE, PoE Plus on our end. You know, Snap has a 4x4, but you have to have, you know, 60 watts to power it, but they don't really sell any switches that provide that power. So you have to, you know, get a power injector. So, you know, they really haven't thought it through. As with us, you know, we have our 2x2, you know, WAP 2 that's, you know, performing really well. And then we have our, you know, we wanted to give you the top of the line, the 8x8, our, you know, our stadium grade where you can have 1,000 simultaneous clients. That does require 40 watts of PoE. You know, we offer the switches that power that and offer the power injectors. So, you know, more of a, you know, us thinking about the integrator and giving them better options versus just simply going with a 4x4. So another neat thing that we do at PoEWit is we provide free heat maps for all our dealers. So if you have a big project coming up, you send us the floor plans with a scale and dimensions, and you know, we create a free heat map. General turnaround times about 1 to 2 business days. You know, we want to make sure that, you know, your project is going to be really successful. You can take this to your client and say, hey, this is where all of the access points will perform optimally. You can even charge for that to your clients. It just depends on what you want to do. But you know, again, this is really our dedication to the dealer. You know, we want to make sure that your wireless access point project is going to be successful. You know, we want to make sure you're going to have the access points in the most optimal place. And you know, it just, again, it's a free service. So definitely take advantage of that. And, you know, we're happy to do that for you. So we're going to go through the network switches real quick on how to power our access points. So we do have 4 network switches that use a Broadcom chipset. We have the NS48, that's a 740 watt PoE budget, and the NS24 is a 370 watt PoE budget. These all pump PoE Plus and perpetual PoE. So the neat thing about our switches are one, the horsepower within our switch is just compared to our nearest competitor, it just blows them away. It's a front-facing switch, and then also the perpetual PoE. So when you do reboot an access point, you're not going to have that long lag time that some of our competitors have on the switches, where the access point might be off for a couple minutes. With perpetual PoE, you're still getting power to the access points or our lights or whatever devices that you have plugged in there. So it's staying online.
Yeah. That's what he wants. What one do you think he wants?
But he was telling me, do you remember the chairs? They were
The green ones that go with that.
with this thing.
Yeah.
But
Sorry about that. I think somebody was on was not muted. But anyways, this is our network switch screenshots on our app. So as you can see, you can reboot ports, you can name the ports, you can see the power consumption. Like I said early in the presentation, you can have our PoEWit UPS and PoE load shed. You can even have emergency radios on our access points through our UPS as well. So, a really great option to have in terms of using our network switches. So we do offer two 8-port switches that are 90 watts per port. The NS8B is a layer 3 network switch. So the NS48, 24, and NS8B are all layer 3. The NS8B provides 500 watts of PoE on the budget. So all 8 of these ports can push 90 watts. So for the WAP1, it's perfect. For our lights, the WP4 and then the daisy chain our lights. But in terms of access points, the WAP1 and the WAP2O, this is the switch you would want to use. As four 10 gig SFP ports as well. So like I said, we wanted to provide the best performance and the most power to our dealers versus offering them something and then they got to go somewhere else to power it. So again, we really thought through what we wanted to provide for the dealer in the field that makes them the most success. And then we have the NS8-4B. This is our layer 2 switch. This is more of our starter switch. So all 4 of these ports pump 90 watts, 180 watt PoE switch power supply. So you want to use the WAP2O or the WAP1 if you're using more power. So you can get four of our access points on the NS8-4B, and then the NS8B you can get 8 access points. So just a really great switch. This switch has done really well in the field for more of the smaller installations, small to medium sized installations with the access points. And then the NS8B has been more of the bigger installations with the WAP1 or the WAP2O. And then the NS24 and 48, bigger installations with the WAP2 or the WAP2E. So this really just goes over our network switches. So, the NS24 and NS48, you want to use, the WAP2 and the WAP2E are perfect for that. And really the NS8-4B, NS8B, and the PIO9, it's going to be the WAP2O, our outdoor access point, and the WAP1. So this is pricing for the NS24, NS48, NS8-4B, and NS8B. The NS24 is $1,125 dealer cost. The NS48 is $1,800 dealer cost. The NS8-4B is $375 dealer cost, and the NS8B is $975 dealer cost. So 50-point margins on all our products again. And then briefly, we do sell a power injector that pumps out 90 watts per port. So if you have, an outdoor access point or just, even for testing purposes, this is something that we provide for the dealer. You can find under accessories on our dealer portal. So pricing right there, the power injector is $130 dealer cost. We do also sell fiber modules as well. We have the 1 gig SFP port and then the 10 gig SFP port as well. We do offer a partner program, which is essentially our demo program, which is 30% off PoEWit dealer cost. So if you want to try our products, you have 45 days to test out our any products you want, access points, network switches, UPSs, lights. Just put in the discount code box when you check out partner. That will give you 30% off one demo order. Most guys use it for the showroom, their personal home, or a project where they're looking to use our product. So if you have any other questions, I can email you additional details about the program. My email's there, joseph@poewit.com. And then we'll briefly go over shipping and warranty. So all our products ship out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Generally times about 1 to 2 business days for all our orders. 2-year warranty on all our products. We've planned ahead, in terms of stock and having product for dealers. I know with other certain manufacturers, you've had to wait months for product to get back in stock, and then your jobs are delayed and everything. So with us, again, we're 1000% focused on the dealer, so that involves having product for our dealers for their upcoming projects. I'll let Giselle talk a little bit more about our social media, since she manages all of that. So Giselle, if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So we really encourage you to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We post daily content. A lot of it has to do with other dealers' installations, our own new products that are coming out, cool product features that you may have not be familiar with. So there's a lot of very useful content in our accounts. Also on our YouTube channel, you are able to find instructional videos for the app on how to set up certain products, demos on how to daisy chain devices, demos on how to, demos on, how to view, like what happens when you connect an OS1, for example, to an existing, or you retrofit it to an existing IP camera installation, how the video turns from black and white to color. There's a lot of useful videos in there. So I will add a link in a minute or two into the chat to some of our social media channels. And we also, I will also add a link to our dealer application. So feel free to, look at those in a little bit. And then also, if you are a current PoEWit dealer, feel free to send us any installation videos, any pictures of your PoEWit product installations. We will feature them in our social media channels. And, for all this good quality content that you send us, we will give you 10% off your next order. Also, all of our assets can be found on the online tools page of our website. And I will put a link to that on the chat in a few minutes as well. You can find our logos, our product photos, a lot of our literature about different solutions, everything, our data sheets, quick starts, manuals, it's all in there. So it's easy access. Yeah, I think that is it for me. I will put all these links in a minute on the chat for you. If you have any questions, also feel free to reach out to me. You can email me at giselle@poewit.com.
Awesome. Yeah, Giselle does just an awesome job for us in marketing and social media. Our TikTok page is just blown up. So definitely check out all our social media stuff. We're very active there. And we were talking about earlier on the call, and even before the call, we're going to be at CEDIA this year in Denver, booth 1129. So definitely come out and see us. We'd love to chat with you in person, see what we can do to help out on your networking projects and also your lighting projects. So I will show, let me end, that's the end of the PowerPoint presentation. Let me show real quick our video to configure our access points. Let me make this a little bit bigger for you guys to see. All right. So I'll walk you guys through real quick on how to configure our access points. So this is really this is a free PoEWit app. This is where you start off. You have the dashboard, homes, account, about, and discover. All your projects are listed under homes. So you go see the access point is connected. So you go into networking right up there. And then you see your access point right there. Hit the three little dots there on the right. So you hit edit. Then you can see security profiles. They're all right there. The edit SSIDs are right there as well, where you can edit and hide and isolate those as well. And then if you want to add an access point, you hit the top right button, the plus sign, and you'll see all your access points will pop up right there. So really easy, click, 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 and then you hit save. You're adding them, success, and there they are. And it's super easy. Again, you can hit right there on the right to edit them. They all show up on the app. You can scroll down for that home. Again, super easy, no licensing, no subscription fees. You can apply all the settings and for one access point and apply it to the rest of them right there. You could change the name of the access point right there. So all really easy. And again, that's something completely free that we offer for the dealers, and 100% no subscriptions or licensing or firmware fees. So wanted to show you guys that. I'll stop sharing my screen. We're going to open it up to some Q&A with Vic and myself and Giselle. So if you want to unmute yourself or just put it in the chat, we're happy to answer any questions you guys have about our access points, the company, or even our lighting products as well.
We do have a question already here coming from the chat from Kevin. Are these PoE switches able to control lights and APs? Vic, you wanted to elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah. Yeah, let me know if I'm answering or not. But yeah, so when we rethought all of our devices, including the network piece, you will see a lot of Easter eggs in it where the devices are connected together. And the biggest piece that you'll see about our devices being connected is PoE load shedding. So it was always an issue where you wanted backup power, and especially for lighting now that we're into, you want to be able to keep the lights on during certain times. And with PoE lighting, there's no reason why you couldn't. But always the bottleneck or the Achilles heel in all of this was always the backup battery. You have to put a UPS in, a lot of times backup, extended battery runs and take up the whole rack. So we want to be a little smarter. So our UPSs, along with our PoE switches, they're connected through what we call PoE load shedding. So in the settings in our app, you could turn off certain PoE ports to load shed third-party devices. You could also, through our lighting, when you first install it, say, do I want this light to be on or off or dim during a power outage? So a lot of folks have been using our lights, even if they're putting in Lutron today, as emergency lighting, because across the country now, because of our grid and situations, especially where the grid is very shaky out in California, maybe, or down through Texas, folks want emergency lighting. So like all of our lights, there's one big installation here in California that they supplemented a big Lutron installation with all of ours along the baseboard, staircases that leads all the way out to the house. So as soon as the power goes out, all of our lights come on to enable a safe path for the family to walk out of the house, in the event of emergency. So we're able to offer a lot of features and capabilities that wasn't capable in the past. But with all that said, one thing you'll see about our devices is that they're all independent. So you don't need to buy our UPS. You can use different network switches to get the same features and capabilities. Obviously, if you use all of our stuff together, you'll get a lot of features that other folks don't offer. So I hope that answers that question.
Great. We do have another question here from Ted. Doing a retro project where we are replacing old WAPs using Cat5 with the WAP 2E, do you think there will be any issues?
No, absolutely not. So this is what I mean about we re-architected everything, the way we designed our products, the fresh sheet of paper, which has been great for us, right? Because a lot of innovations happened since, we sold Package, and a lot of innovations happened, since we've been out of the industry and started PoEWit. So the biggest part we see is with Wi-Fi 6, and they're running multiple radios, right? So they do take up a lot more power. One cool feature of our WAP is, especially on big homes, especially if you have our WAP 1 installed, our WAP 1 takes 40 watts of power, right? So that's a lot to run during a power outage, let's say, right? Because it'll suck up your UPS battery. So all of our WAPs, there's a setting on there where you can load shed those WAPs and only keep on the WAPs that are necessary during a power outage. So our WAP 1, for example, in our outdoor, they all take PoEBT power because it takes 40 watts. And 802.3 AT could go as high as 25.5 watts. So, but with all that said, we want our product to be retrofittable. So the WAP 2 and WAP 2E, you don't need BT power. We specifically designed it so that you could still use a regular PoE AT switch, so it's under 25.5 watts of power. But the other key feature that we see in the wireless space is still able to support over 500 clients, which is key, especially if you're going to use it in a small enterprise, type of space. So if you have Cat5 run, if you have legacy PoE equipment, yeah, you could take out your old APs and just add ours, without any issues. But the WAP 1, you would have to upgrade the PoE switches to supply 40 watts. So all of our products are well thought out like this. What's interesting, when Snap released their WAP 2E, which they don't make their own, obviously, they use another company that's very residential grade stuff, but their WAPs takes slightly over 30 watts of power, right? 32 or whatever watts of power. And one thing about 802.3 AT, it says 30 watts in the specs, but from a spec perspective, it delivers a minimum of 25.5 watts minimum in order to be compliant. So with that said, a lot of Snap folks that originally bought their APs are coming to us for our BT switches, because that's the only thing that could sufficiently power those APs. And so that's one interesting fact. So the one last question that Kevin asked early on was, do we offer computer access with our products? And that's a really good question, because during we get that a lot, actually. And one thing about the whole networking space and the whole advent of IoT devices and the cloud, whenever you expose local access to any device, you always open up a security risk. And security is becoming a bigger and bigger factor, because of a lot of hackings that have happened. Even in the enterprise space, there's a huge movement towards the cloud where they want to eliminate local access. But obviously, there's so much legacy devices out there, so it's, I would say, almost impossible on the corporate side, but there's a massive movement to that. With that said, on the residential side, it's a lot more advanced in a sense of eliminating local access. Because as soon as you open up local access, you're creating potential security vulnerabilities, right? So from a networking perspective, how you want the devices to go, you want to plunk a device down, so say a wireless access point, into a local network. And then from there, that device only knows how to go to the cloud. And so in our case, we use both Amazon and Google Cloud. So that's where our security happens, right? Because our devices only knows how to go to those cloud providers. And so we're all locked up through this, So obviously if Google ever gets hacked or Amazon, then it would be a bigger issue. And you could argue it might even be national security, because there's so much that feeds through those two web hosters. So with us, our app, all we know how to do is go to the cloud as well. And that's where that marriage happens. So our app, when you start to configure, goes to the cloud and passes that configuration to the local devices. And that's how we close that security vulnerability. Now, one thing our app is very easy to configure. And so we only expose variables that we think you need. And obviously, there are features and functions that we miss sometimes, right? But we try to, for this channel, provide the best settings for our APs. And early on, when we released our WAP ones 18 months ago, we realized that the settings that we have wasn't very suitable for Sonos, for example. Sonos really relies heavily on airtime fairness features, and we didn't have those features exposed. So what we did was we went into the cloud from there, and we have remote capabilities for our support, and we changed those certain settings to be more compatible with Sonos, and then we issued firmware updates to all of our access points to be better suited with that. And so for the last 18 months, we haven't had any issues. But again, lastly, I would leave with, we're very dealer driven. So if there's specific features and functions that you guys need, we will build that into our app so that you have those features and settings. But that was cool about being in this channel and just focused on it is we're able to focus on those key features and just make it easy. So our dealers that have been with us for a while, they're in and out, like 5 and 10 minutes. The longest part of their day is, running all the cabling, connecting all the apps, mounting it, making it look great in a person's house. But as far as the configuration, they're in and out. So.
Great. We have another question here from Kevin. Aruba allows zones for different SSIDs on different APs. Can PoEWit zone on your products?
I'm not sure what zones. Are we talking VLANs? Because if we are, we do allow VLANs on our APs, and that's at the heart of our configuration, where you set up different VLANs with different SSIDs. You configure it, you launch it, and you're set up.
Okay, Kevin, I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, let me know. Next question is from Kevin also. Can your routers work in a small commercial under 500 users?
Definitely. I mean, Joey, I'm not sure if you want to talk about our router offerings, but we'll lead in with, again, we took a fresh look at this company. Do we want to get into making a router? And the overwhelming majority was no. There's a company out there that kicks everybody's butt in making the best routers, the most reliable routers, and that company is Fortinet, which we partnered with actually back in the Pack Edge days. There is another company, Y Reboot, that offers it as well, because they realize Fortinet does make the best product. On the enterprise side, Fortinet is dominating, all the on-prem, router side. So, Joe, I'm not sure if you're going to comment on our offerings.
Yeah. So we do offer the R4 and the R10, which is the 40F and the 100F on the Fortinet side. The special thing about what we offer in terms of our router is it's fully pre-configured, and then we offer our free support on top of our solution with Fortinet. So you're not being hit over the head again with licensing fees, subscription fees, all the fees that Fortinet hits you over the head with in terms of using their router. So the R4 has been really popular with PoEWit dealers. We've had actually the R10's been getting more popular here in August, in July, and we have other projects that dealers are speccing that on as well, the 10 gig. So like Vic was saying, it's really our philosophy to provide all our PoEWit dealers with the best performance, and be able to configure easily and put it into a client's house, knowing that you have the very best. So if there is a special configuration you need for Fortinet, send us an email. We have had some special ones in South Florida that we've done. And that, we have our team of network engineers that are super familiar with Fortinet. So, again, it's just our philosophy of offering the very best on the networking side, and service is really at the heart of all of what we do at PoEWit. So
Right.
Let us know how we can help.
Right, and routers could get pretty complex, and there are, many ways to set it up and whatnot. And what our goal with Fortinet is just get it out there and get all of you guys using it, rather than other routers that could potentially get you in trouble with your customers and potentially put you in an embarrassing situation. So with Fortinet, we offer a markup so we could support it, right? And we'll support it lifetime with you guys. We'll give you the firmware updates and whatnot. You could buy Fortinet cheaper on the internet, and we totally welcome that. Like, if you want to learn off our Fortinet and our configuration, the way we have it configured, just download the config later, whenever you're done with our support, and you could apply it to the Fortinet if you want to buy it somewhere else. But our main goal is for you guys to start using the product, put it into your customers, because your customers will be happy. I've been running Fortinet now for 15 years, and there's periods of time when I don't even touch my router. I could go years without even rebooting it or anything. Obviously I have to reboot it sometimes because I do make a lot of configuration changes. My house is kind of like a shoemaker's kids. We're out running a lot of different things. So, but we had instances where, like, over 10 years, right? I mean, you're not even touching the router of anything you want. But it is a complex product, so there's many different ways to configure it. Joey mentioned, we have scenarios where this one guy, for his house, he wanted 3 WAN connections. So he had 3 internet connections coming in, really paranoid about internet going down. And that was a special configuration where he the dealer set up a time with us. We had the config files ready to go. We went in and we helped them, be successful, setting it all up for that one-off and whatnot. So.
Great. We have one more question from Shantae. Does the gateway have the ability to provide guest network splash pages for hotel type configurations?
I personally don't know if Fortinet offers any kind of captive portal type capability. So that's a question we'll have to get back to you on. But yeah, that does happen on the router side, by the way, on the gateway side. So we'll look into that if Fortinet offers that, and get back to you on that.
Shantae, good to see you. Shantae is one of our earlier PoEWit dealers. He's installed our lights, has had a lot of success. So good to see you on the call, man.
If anybody has any additional questions, or that's it so far.
Okay, great. Well, like I said, appreciate your time, and hope all of you are going to attend CEDIA in Denver. It is a great city, and I look forward to seeing all of you guys there. We will have a huge announcement with our lighting. We totally re-architected in the last 2 years in terms of a lot of great feedback from your dealers, and the price points on all of our lighting is going to drop dramatically, given how we re-architected the product. We will have a competing product with Ketra now with Lutron, and that's our big announcement. It's all low voltage, so it's all through PoE. So you guys don't need to, deal with any kind of electricians or something like that. And the capability, because it is a network device, is incredible, in terms of, what you could do with it and how it's tied to other networking equipment within the house. So we're pretty excited about that. And, we'll definitely have more information coming out as CEDIA approaches.
We have one more question that came in just now from Jose. How far apart do you recommend to install your WAPs?
Okay, very good question. So the only way now, and I shouldn't say only, right? In the IT world, you'll never say never, because there are many ways you could potentially get in trouble just networking. But the main way you could get in trouble in an installation is not having sufficient coverage. So that's why we offer the heat map service, and we beat that with a drum. If you, before any installation, definitely give us the floor plan. Force the owner to do it, or go in there and measure it yourself. Give us the heat map, the floor layout, and we'll turn around 24 or 48 hours our recommendation on how to cover that home, with consideration of where the wires are dropped to. Okay, that way we know you have sufficient coverage within a home. And from there, then, like, if something does go wrong and you contact our support, we'll have that document, and we'll know exactly where the APs are placed to eliminate that off the table. But so far, knock on wood, it's been great. And everyone that provides us with a heat map and then installed, nothing, no call support, customers are happy, and yeah, so.
We have another question here from Christopher. Are there any plans for handoffs of clients to another adjacent AP? Arachnis will migrate clients between APs instead of them lingering in low signal.
Yeah, so that's all old. And if that's what Arachnis is Snap telling you, this is incorrect information. Back in the day, IEEE came out with a standard 802.11r, and that R stands for exactly what you're thinking, roaming, right? So that's the roaming standard. And back in the day when that standard first came out, there was a little discrepancy between the interpretation of client chipset manufacturers to what the AP chipset manufacturers were. So that was that whole passing off clients to another AP. And there's a lot in that standard, including all the security that you need to pass from one AP to another. So hence, fast forward to today, that standard's great, right? It's without a hitch through Wi-Fi calling or anything else you do where you require that seamless handoff, it works to a T, okay? So for anybody to say that there's something that migrating client from one AP to another is not true, okay? Now, with all that said, the standards, WPA to AES and 802.11r, the roaming standard, is married. So that's been out there for a long time. There's no conflicts among client Wi-Fi card manufacturers and AP manufacturers. So that works seamlessly, okay? Now, if you're using WPA3, the latest encryption standard, there are some hiccups with roaming, right? So when you configure our APs, you'll definitely see a warning sign saying, if you need to use WPA3, you might suffer some roaming issues, okay? Because it's not fully baked yet, in terms of the marriage between, like an Apple iPhone and the card that's sitting, versus the AP. So with our APs, long story short, as soon as you start putting in all our APs, long as they have sufficient overlapping coverage, and you can ensure that through the heat map, you won't have any roaming issues. It'll be very seamless. And that's the number one way that people use our APs today is through Wi-Fi calling, Zoom calls, anything like that. They walk around the house. That's all done using 802.11r standard.
Awesome. Christopher says that's our issue. Thank you. We'll place them appropriately. Next question we have here is from Brett. Do you have acceptably good looking recessed boxes if we need to locate WAPs in a visible ceiling? Invisible ceiling.
No, we haven't come up with any, recess box to, put our APs in. So at this time, we have had a few requests. So, we'll take a look at that. There's been a few, dealers that actually, with the old package APs, we had the recess, AP. So they actually been, dropping that down and just putting our APs right in and just closing the box over it. So that was kind of funny when some of the dealers, showed us some videos of that happening. So But you know, that package AP has been up there for 15 years, so I mean, it was really cool to, you know, watch them upgrade it to PoEWit. So
Great. Any additional questions, anybody? If there's no additional questions, I guess that wraps it up for us. Don't forget to follow us on social media. Don't forget to visit our booth at CEDIA in Denver. Our booth number is 1129. The entire PoEWit team will be there, and we will be releasing a lot of new solutions that you don't want to miss. So definitely come check us out. Joey, do you have anything else?
We'll have candy and cookies.
Oh, yes. Candy and cookies for everyone.
No, I look forward to seeing everybody at CEDIA. Yeah, it'll be a great show, and reach out to me, Joseph at PoEWit.com, if you have any questions about any of our products, becoming a dealer, our partner program, or anything.
yeah, thank you again for your time.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.